Hey everyone, Deneen here, and welcome to December Daily Story 13, where I'm working with this awesome tree die cut that I have been waiting to use. I've also created a frame in Photoshop because I'm going to make a shaker pocket, and this is going to be the outside. I have this from In a Creative Bubble. It was a 3x4 card that I elongated, and the background is a tag to match the story from Story 12. So let's go ahead and punch some holes here. I'm just going to use the Story 12 tag to make sure that my holes line up because these are going to be back to back. And I'm also going to go ahead and punch holes into that frame that I created. This is going to be a shaker pocket, and I need to make sure that the holes align well. And I'm going to be using foam adhesive for that frame, so it's easier for me to punch the holes in the tag and also in the frame now, because once I get the foam on, it will be very difficult to fit that into my hole punch. So that is why I am taking the time to do this now. So once I make sure everything lines up, I will just go ahead and use that tag as a template to put the holes on the frame. Using a little bit of adhesive here just to make sure they stay together nicely, and then punching the holes in the frame. Now we're going to create a shaker pocket. So I'm using score tape, and I decided on the 1/4 inch because with sequins inside, I want to make sure that the score tape is adhered nicely and is strong enough to keep everything together so that the sequins do not come out. I've had that happen before where I haven't quite sealed the shaker as well as I should have. So I'm being extra careful here, going around the inside of that frame as close to the edge as I can possibly get without going over the edge. So this shaker pocket is going to be made with tulle. And this is green tulle that I just got from the Hobby Lobby. Let me get a piece of white paper. There we go. So you can see, and I'm just cutting it to the approximate size of the frame. Two pieces. One is going to be the front, and then the other one will be the back. And then once I get that cut, and it doesn't have to be exact because you could trim off the overhang once you are done, I will lay the tulle out and I will push it down onto the score tape. And then just really carefully, you'll see, and it doesn't have to be perfect. You're not going to see this. Just make sure that it's not hanging out over the edge. But it looks ragged, and that's okay because it's not going to be seen by anyone in my album. So once I get done cutting all of that excess off, I'm going to fill this with some sequins. Now the mix that I chose ended up having these little itsy bitsy teensy weeny tiny beads in it, which I could not remove with my fingers because they were too tiny. So I let them go, knowing that they were going to come right through the holes in the tulle. And I wasn't worried about it because I just knew if I took it and shook it over the garbage can that the little ones would all come out, but the big ones wouldn't. So that wasn't a problem. I recommend using things that don't have pointy edges. Use like sequins and circle things that aren't going to get caught in the little tiny holes in the tulle. So just, again, be careful with what you're choosing. So once I get that sequin mixed down, I am then putting another layer of score tape on top of the tulle. So there's score tape and the tulle, and then now more score tape because I'm going to put that second piece of tulle on top, and the sequins are going to be sandwiched between two of those pieces of tulle. So once again, I am carefully putting my score tape on to make sure that I'm not leaving any gaps for any sequins to sneak out. And like I said earlier, I know the tiny ones will sneak out, and I just figured easier to shake them out than to sit there and pick them out. So let's remove the backing and add the second piece of tulle. So now all of those sequins are sandwiched between those two pieces. And I'm just shaking it there a little bit, hoping some of those tiny ones fall out. And then again, the same concept for the tulle that is hanging over. you want to just use your scissors and cut off whatever is showing outside of your frame. And like I said earlier, it doesn't matter if it looks terrible under the frame because no one will see under the frame. So there we go. So this is going to go on here with some foam adhesive. And I'm doing that because I want to use it as a pocket. So here's my die cut. And I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm going to add the foam here. So this is just very thin 1/4 inch foam strips on a roll. And I'm just putting it around 3 of the sides. I am not putting it on the top because like I said, I want it to be a pocket. So I'll go ahead and remove the backing from that. Remember, 3 sides only if you want it to be a pocket. And then I'm going to line that up. And this is why I wanted the holes punched already, because now I could line everything up with the holes and it'll go into my album nicely. This will go on the bottom here, and you'll see that I did some sewing, just stitches down the middle of the trees. I've seen some people do that. Can't remember who, but I thought it was super duper fun. So just cutting off those little strings hanging. And I am going to adhere this to the bottom here. And there's my little card that's going to slide inside. Then I pulled out this Calm and Bright. I think this is from 2022. I'm not really sure. It's been in my stash. And I thought, you know what? I think I'd like to use this. So you can't adhere things to the tool because it will then keep the sequins from moving. So I use my rolling adhesive to adhere Calm and Bright to the top of the trees so that it lets the sequins move. And then some super thin score tape where I am going to put the trees and I guess it's a chipboard, chipboard die cut, yes. And I need to punch holes in those trees as well. So line that up, punch the holes, and then add that to the top. And I think that came out really, really cute. Super excited about this page. Wanted to use tulle for a while. Here it is in my album. I paired it with a full page photo of my 2 cats in the morning. It's a story about quiet mornings and the cats. And on the photo, I just used one of the die cut phrases from this year's release and a 1 and a 3 little puffy numbers there from a few years ago. I think they might have also been in in another collection, but I have tons of those. Here it is where I am showing you how that card pulls out of the pocket. And I did the card and the background of the pocket the same color because I kind of like how it looked like that when it was sitting inside. I added a star sticker to the middle of that, nice and cozy as well. And then here is it completely pulled out, and you'll see that at the bottom I found, oh my gosh, they were from an Allie and Laura Wansick release maybe a couple years ago, the number 13 written out in Allie's handwriting. So that was a stamp set that I thought was fun to use for this. Even though 13 is on the other page, I thought it would be fun to put it down there by number. So that's it, guys. Story 13. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave me a comment. I will answer anything. And we will see you guys in the next video.